excerpt for you. Joseph McCobb's treatise, The History of Torture, illustrates the reasoning process. McCobb reports that during the Middle Ages, there was more torture used in Christian Europe than in any society in history. The main cause of this cruelty was the Christian doctrine of eternal punishment. McCobb explains that if it was natural to reason God punished men with eternal torment, it is surely lawful for men to use doses of it in good cause.
God does not punish men in eternal hell. Men, when they turn away from God, have punished themselves. God is love. God is forgiveness. He punishes no one. He forgives and loves everyone unconditionally. But when men or women choose to turn away and reject God's love, they find themselves in a nasty predicament, because this time we're in is going to end. There's a little bubble now where we feel there is no God. Even though he can see us, we don't see him. But a time is coming when that void, that bubble where he doesn't appear to exist, will be filled. And we will be there with him. And for those of us who love God, when he comes, when he returns, when Christ returns, that love of his will feel like a warm and joyful. We'll be very happy. But for those who hate God, that warmth will be like a fire. God is the lake of fire. His love for them will feel like hell, a burning fire. That's what the Orthodox Church Fathers teach. That's what Christ taught. That's the truth. That's what hell is. God isn't sending anyone in it like some eternal burning torture chamber in the center of earth. That is not what hell is. So wake up, guys. It's on you. And you can check yourself right now. If the fathers say that to those who don't care about God, or not interested at all in godly things, the church and things of the church to them seem like vomit. So if you find that feeling within yourself, like if someone invites you to an Orthodox church, not those fake churches on TBN where those clowns are running around begging for money and wiping sweat off their fat faces with a handkerchief, those ridiculous clowns. Guess what? We laugh at them too. Those guys are not Christian. That's a heresy. What they're doing is a lie. It's an artificial fake church made. It's the devil's church. That's not the church established by Christ, the Orthodox Church. That's a fake church. We make fun of them too. But if you come to the real church, which I have invited some Protestants to the real church more than once, they find it like vomit. That's how it's going to be when the real God returns. They're going to recoil from him, and it's not going to be nice or fun for those guys unless they repent before the end comes. Let's keep listening to this God hater because he sure likes to criticize Christians. How come he never criticizes the Muslims, who in their book it says clearly to kill, crucify, cut off hands and feet, cut off heads, cut off fingers, even kill little children? That's all fine to him. But because that same God of the Quran, which is Satan, is his God. Also, he's not an atheist. He believes in God, Satan, but he hates Christ. So let's listen to some more of this fake atheist who's not even a real atheist. He believes in God, he just hates him.
And then, of course, we can get into the Inquisition, the Crusades, burning of witches, religious wars, paradigm against Jews, persecution of homosexuals, forceful conversion of heathens, slavery, beating of children, brutal treatment of the mentally ill, suppression of scientists, the whipping, mutilations of and violent executions of persons convicted of crimes. All things that in current modern America would be deemed immoral and improper in a civil society, but were all very much advocated by your moral teachings.
Well, why do you skip the part of all the Christian martyrs who were tortured, sawed in half?
That's not what I didn't skip it. I didn't skip it. What I said.
Why did you skip that part?
I didn't skip
the context.
I said that we're talking about majority. Yeah, but we're talking about majority. We can bring up individual. Yeah, but we can bring up individual cases all day long, Vlad. I'm talking about the majority.
More Christians were killed than any group you mentioned. More about if you want to compare, like.
Oh, you think that when they did the Crusades and they went through the Muslim parts of the world and they literally cut down men, women, and children, stuck their heads on stakes and eradicated entire towns?
Why did that happen? Why did that happen?
Because the Pope wanted to eradicate other religions. I mean, come on, man.
So Rome went into
Holy War
and Saudi Arabia and started attacking. The Romans instigated.
Well, there was all kinds of battling, but the Christian.
And I forgot to mention, anyone who was putting heads on sticks or putting humans on spears learned it from the Muslims. So they were giving them a little bit of their own medicine. You're not supposed to do that as a Christian. The Roman Catholics are not Christian; they're Roman Catholics. But anyway, he fails to mention that part. Anyway, let's proceed.
Were busy torturing people and trying to convert them.
No, but how's that?
Listen, you can try to claim that the Christians have a moral high ground, but you're not going to win because all religions are guilty of shooting at each other. Is the end of the sentence.
Who invaded whose country first?
I don't know. Tell me then. Tell me what started it all.
Well, you're an expert.
But the Crusades. But the Crusades weren't based in. Do you know what the Crusades even were? Do you know? Tell me, Vlad. What were the Crusades? What happened? No. I want to know if you even know your own history. What happened during the Crusades? What specific thing did they do that they went along and did? Did they stay in one nation when they did it, or did they move through an entire region of the world? You don't know shit about your own history. Answer the question.
I know everything.
Answer the question. What were the Crusades?
When you answer mine.
What is it?
I'll answer your question. I asked you first. Answer my question. I'll answer
Vlad, I don't think, but me answering your question is going to give you the answer, and I don't think you fucking know it, is what I'm saying. I don't think you do. I think you're doing that thing where you go, we did this as kids, Vlad. No, I know. You don't know. You tell me what you know first. And that's the thing. You get them to say it. You're like, yep, absolutely. That was it.
So you're scared to answer my question. I'll answer your question.
Vlad, there was many countries involved because I know you don't know this, so I'm just going to fill it in for you because I know you don't know. The Crusades were where they gathered up troops as they went along. You were required by the Pope to donate troops and knights and soldiers and stuff to the crusade, and they marched through the Middle East and they killed everybody in their fucking path who wasn't a Christian. And so they did it in
peaceful in their country, and we came and
it doesn't. You went into multiple nations. Right? Yeah, but but the thing is, if you were invaded by one, you weren't invaded by all of.
How come you can't tell the truth?
You don't know your own history, Vlad. This is your own cultural history.
You don't tell the truth? Who started the war?
You haven't answered me. I don't fucking know. It was a crusade. They were going against a.
Oh, you don't know?
There's more countries than one country in that region of that religion, Vlad.
I know that in Serbia, the Turkish Ottoman Empire came in there and started putting people on spears and chopping their heads off in front of their women and children.
Serbia is nowhere near Eastern Europe, like in that sense. So you're going. You're going. Serbia's or Western Europe. Sorry, Eastern. Serbia's Eastern Europe, buddy. We're talking about the ones that marched down. They marched down from England through France, down through Germany. They gathered as many troops as they could, and then they marched through the Middle East, going all the way down in. I believe they went all the way to like the north end of Africa, and they cut down every Muslim they could. There is many countries in there, Vlad. And the fact that you asked me what country invaded what country showed me immediately that you have no fucking clue what the Crusades even were and how they worked.
Well,
that's the answer.
You don't
Neither do you, because you haven't answered that either. You just keep asking me. Vlad, it was a holy crusade. It started when the Pope stepped up and said those fucking Muslims have to die. That's when it started. So you saying what country invaded? You're using a time when there's countries and countries. You're thinking World War I and World War II. The fact that you even brought it to that is such a naive statement, Vlad. That's why I get like this with you, because you claim, and then you do the whole like, oh, no, you don't know, Beaver, I know. Come on, we've seen this act 1,000 times, Vlad. Don't pretend.
How do you know? How is it that you know so much, but you don't know who invaded whose country first?
Vlad,
you answer that?
Vlad, they're not countries like that. It was a fucking holy war. It was religion versus religion.
Empire.
They did not care where the borders were. If you were a different religion, you were cut down.
Okay. So your answer is that the Catholics drew first blood and attacked.
I never said that. I never said that. It doesn't matter.
What are you saying?
Okay, so if I go over,
Afraid to answer that question. So
okay,
it's the other
so
way around
so
then?
you're telling me that singular acts against Christians validates you cutting down an entire religion of people that had nothing to do with men whipping women, children, and like dogs, cats, everything, putting them all on spikes and stuff. That's okay with you because somebody slighted somebody over here.
But why are you afraid to answer who's
I've answered, Vlad. I'm literally going to kick you at this point because you just don't even know what you're talking about. You're trying to say, then who? Then Vlad, who invaded who? Then inform me, school me, bury me, man, bury me. Who invaded who?
Well, the Ottoman Empire marched in and started, and they have their Quran. The Quran says, "Convert the world by force."
Sure.
So that's what they did.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And then so the Ottoman Empire. So that justified them moving past the Ottoman Empire to cut down more people that weren't part of that.
Right.
That's okay then?
All right. Now I'm going to answer your question.
Well, I think we just did, didn't we?
Well,